Hello, Aquarius, Divine Masculine. Welcome to Soul Good. I'm Amber Marie, and this is your energy check-in. This is a timeless check-in, so whenever you find it or it finds you, there may be something relevant in this reading here for you. I do want to share that this does apply to Aquarius divine masculines who are aware that they are divine masculine. Does not have to be a male. You can absolutely be a female in masculine energy. Okay, we do possess both, so I want to make that very clear. This could also resonate with someone who is of Aquarius sun sign, a rising sign potentially, or moon sign as well. And this could also apply to someone who knows that their divine counterpart is an Aquarius divine masculine. If you are curious about the decks that I'm going to be using today, you can find a list of them in the description box below. You can also find links to my social media accounts, as well as links to information on personal readings and the Soul Good membership channel on Telegram. So before we jump in to drawing more cards for you, Aquarius, I do want to share that I pulled a Gateway of Light activation card for you just to see what activations you may be experiencing at this time and to save time in the reading for you because we are going to be jumping into a lot of information today. So the card that came out for you is the Akashic Stargate. Aligned with purpose, crossroads, no wrong path. And here's the thing, Divine Masculine, I feel like you could potentially be experiencing this kind of limbo state, right? Where you're really trying to figure out who you are, where you belong, what you're meant to be doing, what your purpose is here, what path you should be choosing, where you should be headed next, right? It feels to me like I don't know who I am. I don't know where I belong. I don't know what I'm doing. Now, I lovingly want to say that being on a spiritual journey, that happens, right? Oftentimes when we're in between states where one part of us is dying and we're waiting for we have not yet rather stepped into who we're to become, it can often feel very, you can often feel very lost, very confusing. It can often feel like, again, you are in a state of a limbo, right? And I feel like this card is coming through to say, if that is your story, if you are currently feeling that way, understand that you are in this energy of getting more into alignment with your purpose. And it can feel like you're at a crossroads, but know that wherever you choose to wander, wherever you choose to go, there is no wrong path, right? You will always ultimately be redirected to wherever you're supposed to be. It's interesting because I've seen a lot of talk about free will and, how we have free will and all these things. But here's the thing, free will never trump divine will, right? So regardless of what decisions you make and where you ultimately, wind up at any given moment, know that divine will always bring you back to that path, right? That life journey essentially that you created before you incarnated here, right? You made a plan before you incarnated here, and so you will always be redirected back to it, which is why there's no wrong path. The divine will always pick you up regardless of how many times you fall on your face, how many times you detour, right? All the things, the divine will always pick you up. I do want to say that with this card and the mirrors, you could be feeling triggered, right? You could be feeling like things are being shown to you that maybe you don't necessarily want to see or don't necessarily like or rather aren't necessarily proud of, right? But know that you're being shown these things so that you can grow from them, learn from them, and move on from them. I'm also getting that you are divinely protected with that rainbow energy there. I feel like you have a lot of support in the other realms. Whether you are aware of that support or not is another story. However, it is there regardless. I'm also getting there's a lot of like this kind of like star type, almost, cosmic looking energy here. And what's fascinating is there's this energy of like a star needs to be in the darkness to be able to shine. Like in order to see it, right, you have to be in the dark. Like it has to experience the dark. And I feel like this is part of what you're experiencing now, right? And I feel like you may feel alone, but you aren't as alone as you may feel. And know that you are far more powerful than what you give yourself credit for. That could be for someone very specific, but it's a message that I'm getting in the sense that, like, a star is in the darkness, but the light overcomes the dark, right? Like, you can still see that star shining, right? So it's this energy of you are far more powerful than what you give yourself credit for. And what's even more incredible about this, Aquarius, is that in the tarot, you are represented by the star, right? So it is essentially what needs to take place, or what I feel needs to happen, is you need to be showing up for you and recognizing that you do have the ability within you to shine brightly. I'm also feeling like I need to, oh my gosh, excuse me, sneeze, right? Which is like getting rid of things quickly, abruptly, things being forced out, essentially, right? So there's something there with that as well. I don't know if you've experienced people kind of falling away, or maybe feeling forced into situations, right? And that could be part of divine will as well. So just some things to pay attention to as you move through this time, right? Like, these are things you could be experiencing, and know that we're looking at them as activations because it's things that are meant to be growing you, expanding you, and helping you to align more with your path and become who you're supposed to be. Okay. So very interesting energy showing up for you, Aquarius, divine masculine. Let's take a look and see what your divine masculine energy is about right now. What are you embodying as the divine masculine? What energy are you expressing? Now, I do want to share with you that, thank you, these could be your energies, okay, or the energies of people close to you, right? So let's take a look and see what's going on with that divine masculine energy. And if you are experiencing this with people close to you, again, it's meant to be teaching you. It's meant to be setting you up in a specific type of energy so that you're able to grow and learn, right? Things are happening for you, not to you. I feel like I need to share that. Okay. So you do have 3 cards coming out here. We are going to get tarot on these as we move. Oh, you have 4. Excuse me. Things are not what they seem. I feel like I have to say that things are not what they seem. Okay, so first out here, you have the engineer in the light attribute or upright position. Ability to give creative energy a practical expression. Talent for designing resolutions to common dilemmas. What's really interesting about this, Aquarius, divine masculine, is I feel like you're being put in a position to know and understand that you are the engineer, the architect, the creator, co-creator of your reality, right? And I feel like you're being shown that, right? Because you could be experiencing, like I was talking about earlier, triggers where you're seeing things that you don't necessarily, excuse me, like to see. And I feel like that is about seeing where you may have taken action, said things, right, that created a situation in your reality that maybe you, again, aren't proud of, aren't too fond of. And I feel like you're being put in a position to show you that you are the engineer of your reality. That's very, very interesting for me, that it's coming through intuitively that way, as you being essentially the engineer of your reality. We also have here the destroyer in the reverse or shadow attribute position. Intoxication with a destructive power, destroying others' dreams or potential. Again, I feel like you're being shown where these, like, how you have impacted your reality, whether that's people that you've impacted with your decisions and choices, or if that's how you've impacted your own reality with your decisions and choices, right? This is essentially like a tower, right? Like, it's, I don't know, but it's interesting because I feel like you're being seen or being shown how you've impacted, again, the world around you, and how that could have potentially been destructive. And I feel like there's fear in recognizing this. Like, I just had this burpee fear energy show up, and that's like a need to release this, because I feel like there's a fear of seeing where you've kind of, to put it in the nicest way possible, like kind of been a shit, right? Like either to yourself or other people, right? And I feel like there's this energy of like, I don't want to see these things about myself, but in order to move on from them, in order to grow from them, in order to learn from them, you must see them. You have to you have to deal to heal, right? Essentially, it's not, time's just not going to fix it. Like you have to do that yourself. So I do feel like there's something here about, you know, essentially creating the reality that you want to see and fixing the things, right? Like I feel like you have an opportunity here to turn this around, but it's going to be up to you, and whether or not you take control and do embody the reality that you do create your own reality, that you do contribute to that. You also have here the Seeker in the shadow attribute or reverse position. Inability to commit to a path once found. Yes, yes, yes. That's what I'm saying. It feels like there's this energy of like, I see it, but I don't want to see it, right? But it's that path. And you have this energy of like a path or, you know, a journey, a way being made, those sorts of things coming up twice, once here with the Seeker and again with that Akashic Stargate and no wrong path, right? So this is an energy I feel of like, I feel like you know where you're meant to be going or what you're meant to be seeing and dealing with and the things, but it's like I don't want to, I don't want to, right? And I feel like this is a lot about essentially just taking ownership. I do feel, Aquarius, that this is potentially your energy. If not, you could have been dealing with a partner who is not able to commit to you, right? Maybe you felt a very strong connection and they could not commit for some reason, maybe fear, or something that they need to deal with and heal, their truth, right? But more for most of you, I shouldn't say for most of you, but for many of the energy, or much of the energy rather, that I'm picking up on, it does feel like this is your own energy. You also have here the Hermit in the light attribute or upright position, seeks solitude to focus intently on inner life, serves personal creativity. Yeah, you know, this is that energy of like, I feel like there's a need to process what you now know, right? Like there's a need to process what you now know. And I feel like the way to do that is through the solitude. In the Hermit, in the tarot, the Hermit is the wise man, right? It's this energy of taking solitude to gain insight and awareness, to really contemplate things. And I feel like this is where you're being called to journey, like take that journey of self-discovery and go on that path alone, right? Maybe you're somebody who hasn't spent a whole lot of time alone. Maybe you've been in a lot of relationship or relationship after relationship or something like that. And there's this need to like really take the time to get to know you, because there's part of this for some of you, I feel like you don't even know you, which is maybe why that limbo is there. Again, it's common to experience that while going through a spiritual growth or awakening, right? To be in that limbo state, transitioning from one way of being and not yet stepping into another way, right? But I feel like there's this energy of like really needing to process things for yourself and spend time alone and get to know you and understand you and allow yourself to realize and come to terms with the fact that you are a co-creator of your own reality, and much of what you've experienced you have created, which is a hard pill to swallow, Aquarius. Like it really truly is. From my own experience, at least, it's very difficult to take a look at yourself and realize what's taken place, what you've done, what you've inflicted on yourself and other people, taking responsibility for that, and then subsequently changing that pattern, that behavior. It's very, very difficult. I'm not gonna, bullshit and lie or make it sound sweeter than what it is. It's very difficult. And I feel like, more often than not, people don't experience this growth and awakening and ascension because they choose to try to ignore or deny the truth that they know, right? Or rather, they don't want to see their own shit, essentially. I am very drawn to the fact that the energies here do appear to be masculine, right? This energy here has its back turned, so we can't tell if it's a male or female there, but with the Hermit, you know, there's facial hair, it's a male figure. And with the Engineer, you know, I'm taking that as being a male figure as well. So it's interesting that this masculine or male energy is showing up in a divine masculine reading for you, Aquarius. I do feel like this is meant for you. It's just confirmation, I feel, for me and for you to know. Let's get some tarot on these and see if we can figure out more. Tell us more about divine masculine's current energy, please. Thank you. Tell us more about Aquarius, divine masculine. Okay. Thank you. Is there more? Yep. Okay. Thank you. One more. Ooh, that's going to be a little bit hard for me to get, so just give me a second, please. I know my chair is noisy. I'm sorry. Okay, so the first card that you have showing up for you, let me just kind of reorder these, is the Eight of Swords in the, right? Yes. Yes, Eight of Swords in the reverse. And this is, I mean, this is an energy of self-acceptance, right? It's an energy of new perspectives and freedom. And here's the thing, I feel like this is what's happening. I feel like you're coming to this understanding that you've been telling yourself the same bullshit stories. Like, here's the thing, in the upright, this is the card of like victim mentality, self-victimization, imprisonment, entrapment. And for you personally, Aquarius, divine masculine, I feel like you're coming to the realization that you're a fucking butterfly and you can damn fly, right? Like, you're not really actually held hostage by all these fucking swords, though it may appear to be that way, right? You're actually, all you have to do is just spread your wings and fly, right? And so it's this energy of freedom. And I feel like you're coming to this realization that you have the power within you, again, to create your reality. And if you see yourself as being imprisoned, that is what you will experience. If you see yourself as being stuck, trapped, right, you will see yourself, or excuse me, you will experience that reality. If you believe yourself to be a victim, that is the reality that you will experience. So I do feel like there's this knowing. Whether or not you've accepted that, I feel depends on you and your current energy, right? Like where you're at, I shouldn't say your current energy, but where you're at on your soul path rather, right? Because it could look different for everyone, but I do feel like for a lot of you, at the very least, you're, ooh, I almost spilled my coffee. At the very least, you're gaining a new perspective on situations that you've experienced, right? And I feel like you're moving towards that energy of self-acceptance, though I feel like that will be much easier if you have the ability to spend some time with yourself, right? Get quiet, get rid of the noise of the modern day world, phone, company, right? Your TV, your all things, right? Like get quiet with yourself and get rid of the noise so that you can hear yourself. You can tune into yourself, your truth, your intuition, right? And where that is leading you, what it's trying to tell you. So I do feel like there's this, it's like you're set up to accept things, right? You're gaining new perceptions on things and setting yourself up to be to accept those, or you have moved into this energy where you're starting to accept those things. You also have here the Four of Pentacles in the reverse. This is an energy of like, I mean, really, like how I'm seeing this here is like holding things close. Like these to me look like rubber bands, right? And like if this were to try to stretch out and expand, it's going to snap back, right? Like come back together. And so it feels to me like there's like these limitations, right? Like there's some sort of limitation that you put on yourself. And whether that's because you're like, you feel this energy of like a lack and you need to like be frugal or conservative, like, right? Like to conserve things, or like you feel like your security isn't on lock. So you feel like you have to hold things close to you. You may not let people get close to you, which is interesting, but I feel like first of all, I feel like there's something here about like not accepting these things limit your growth, right? It keeps you like contained, right? Unable to stretch your wings, spread your wings, as it were. And so I feel like this has been something that you've experienced. Like, I feel like you've exhibited this behavior potentially of repeating. It's like repeating the same things or experiencing the same things in your reality. That's and it's like it's almost like you choose to keep doing it over and over. I don't know why. It could be very, very specific for someone, but it's like, it feels exhausting to me. It's like, oh, I'm doing this again. Like I'm going through this again. Right. And it feels like that's happening because you keep repeating the same cycle because you're not allowing yourself to see it or change it. Right. It's like, I'm holding these things close to me because it's my security blanket. Like it's all I know. I don't know how to be anything else. I don't know how to do anything else. It's really, really interesting to me, Aquarius divine masculine. And I don't know who that's for, but there's this energy of like setting yourself free from that. I'm also being very drawn to the fact that these, what look like rubber bands or threads to me, are kind of all crossing over one another. I feel like there's multiple layers to this, right? I'm reading this purely intuitively at this point, right? Like it's this energy of like too many lines being crossed, too many things like overlapping one another. Like I feel like this is something deep. This is some deep healing that I feel you're going through at this time. And so it's probably going to feel like a challenge. It's probably going to feel like things are being destroyed. And it's probably going to, I mean, I want to say be painful, you know, like when I think of a butterfly, you know, coming out of a cocoon, like I don't think that that's probably super like enjoyable to go through that metamorphosis, right? Like I'm sure it feels good coming out of that cocoon, like spreading your wings, but like if you were think about like being inside of a cocoon and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I have to come out of here actually, and like I'm not going to be just safe in this little comfy spot here. Like that could be scary. And then you know, once you were out of that cocoon, then you are able to spread your wings. Like, oh, this actually does feel really good to be out of here. And that's what it feels like to me. It feels like there's this fear of wanting to like spread out your wings or change and be something different. You have the devil here in the reverse as well. This is Capricorn energy. Maybe your divine partner is a Capricorn. That could be relevant for you. Or maybe you have Capricorn in your chart. Capricorn energy with this devil energy is that kind of, I mean, in the upright, it's like determined, dominant, persevering, practical, willful, right? And so in the reverse, it's like, I've lost that determination. Maybe being unpractical, maybe not being willful to do things right, like stubborn type of energy I'm getting. You could relate to that. However, the devil in the reverse is an energy of freedom, release, restoring control. And here's the thing, Aquarius divine masculine, I feel for you personally, it's this energy of gaining control over your own life and not letting the things, the ego things, because I look at the devil as the ego. End of story, period. Okay, because it's the things like the devil's often attributed or defined as with like addiction in mind, like materialism, like the pleasures of the world kind of energy. And so this is an energy I feel in the reverse of like freeing yourself from like addictive behavior, from, you know, freeing yourself from the ego. And that it's big. Ego death is hard. Ego death is very, very hard, right? And so I feel like there's this energy here of freeing yourself from that. And this is that release energy showing up again, right? Because you did have that Eight of Swords, which is self-acceptance, new perspectives, and freedom. And then the devil is in reverse, freedom, release, and restoring control. And I feel like this is about you taking back control from the ego, essentially, right? Maybe you are freeing yourself from addiction, like substance abuse, alcoholism, right? Those sorts of things. Like it's releasing yourself from the things that control your life, right? Versus you sitting in your truth and you creating your reality from your truth, not from your wounding, not from your ego, not from your programming, right? Not from the I. You also have the Ace of Swords in the reverse. Ace of Swords in the reverse is confusion, chaos. And here's the thing, like, I feel like, so it's interesting. If you look at the cards so far on this side of the table here, you have that engineer energy, right? Which is essentially coming through for me as that you are the co-creator, the engineer, the architect of your reality, right? You have following that, this destruction, this destroyer type of energy, right? And then following that is this energy of acceptance and freedom in both of the cards that you have underneath that, right? So it's essentially you understanding and acknowledging and seeing that you are the co-creator of your reality and freeing yourself from this destructive behavior, whatever that looks like. It can be patterns, behaviors, addictions, right? Wounding, trauma, programming, okay? That's essentially how I'm seeing this. Now, on this side of the table, right, you have this energy of the seeker, right? An ability to follow the path once it's been found with the Hermit, that need for solitude, right? That need to gain an understanding on self. And following that is the energy of being confined or constricted, right? Not being able to expand, like feeling like you need that security, right? Like, yeah, it's this energy of like possessiveness. Like, I need to hold all the things. I need to know all the moves. Like, it's almost like this, again, it's the energy of like not allowing yourself to expand because you don't, it's like, because you need to control all the things, right? And there, again, there's that need to like go within and kind of unravel that for yourself. And I feel like in doing so, there's going to be this confusion that's created because you are essentially, if you're doing the work, doing this to release that way of being, release yourself and allow that part of yourself to essentially die. And that creates confusion, right? Like, I feel like another thing is that you need to be able to go into this hermit mode so that you can get out of this energy of confusion, right? Like, I feel like there's too much going on. There's too much noise. There's too many things. And so it's like, take this time to go within, to spend some time with yourself, to see, where have you potentially been holding yourself back, right? Like, where have you been putting these restrictions on yourself and not allowing yourself to grow and expand, right? And I feel like that will clear up the confusion. That will like calm down the chaos, right? And I'm getting that similar energy here with the destroyer, right? The Ace of Swords, again, in the reverse, can be an energy with confusion of brutality and chaos, right? So it's like, if, the remedy, if you will, to that is to take the time to go within, to take the time to see what's really going on without all the noise, okay? All right, let's take a look and see how you can become more active in chasing your desires, Aquarius Divine Masculine. Let's see. How can Aquarius Divine Masculine become more active in chasing their desires, please? Thank you. Just the one? Yes. Okay. So you do have the tiger here, right? And the tiger coming out in this area for you, being more active in chasing your desires, I feel this is very much related to that water tiger energy, which, as I film this in real time, even though it doesn't matter because this is a timeless reading, as I film this in real time, it is the year of the water tiger, the Chinese year of the water tiger. And that is an energy of taking risk to gain reward. right? Those who take risk gain reward. And it's not like the risk in the sense of like, oh, I'm going to skydive without a parachute and just see what happens. No, it's this energy of taking calculated risks. Like, oh, this is something I'm really uncomfortable doing. Like, I'm just going to use public speaking. I don't know why, maybe that's relevant for someone specific, but I'm just going to use it as an example. Like, oh, I'm really, really afraid of public speaking. Really, really, really afraid, but I have so much to say. And so you essentially push through that fear, take the risk, and, you know, go do a public speaking act, and then it becomes beneficial for you in some way. You're rewarded by doing that, right? Maybe it's like, I'm really scared to talk up front, but you do a TED talk and it's fucking phenomenal and like everybody loves it, and then you gain all this clientele and things like this, right? Like, it's like that snowball effect. Like, once you let like the cat out of the bag, essentially, right? That's funny. There's a reward that follows, right? So this is the energy I'm getting. Let's draw some tarot and see what comes through here. Tell us more, please, about how Aquarius divine. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Straight out the gate. Straight out the gate, the Emperor. This is Aries energy, so your divine counterpart could potentially be an Aries. Doesn't have to be. But the Emperor, I feel like Aquarius divine masculine, this is about you getting into your divine masculine energy. The Emperor is the divine masculine in the tarot. It's the father, right? The provider, it is literally the divine masculine. So this is about you taking this risk for you to be able to have the opportunity to be rewarded by getting more in alignment with your divine masculine energy. And the natural divine masculine is confident, right? It's got this inner strength. It's focused. It's logical. It's supportive. It's stable. It has direction. It provides protection. It has clarity and boundaries, is courageous and disciplined and capable and certain and assertive, right? It's very active energy, expansive. Okay. So I feel like this is the energy that you are being moved into, should you choose to follow that risk, right? That calculated risk, and look to seek the reward. But again, this is about you making those changes in order for that to happen, right? That's how I'm picking this up currently. But it is about you stepping into your divine masculine energy. And all of those traits that I listed just moments ago is that divine masculine energy, right? If you're in a like shadow masculine energy or a wounded masculine energy, and you'll know if this is you or if this has been you. That's an energy that's confrontational, excuse me. It criticizes, it is abusive, avoidant, unsupportive, unstable. It's got like this abuse of power, aggressive, controlling, competitive, right? Dominant, that kind of energy. And so, you know, I feel like you're being put in a position to move out of any wounded or shadow masculine energy and step fully into that more natural, empowered, divine masculine energy. Ooh, that's big things. And here's the thing. I was feeling like this is big energy, right? This is creating or has the opportunity to create a really big shift in you, right? Like this is big, big, big. So it's not really a surprise that that showed up. Okay. That's also your second number 4. So I do feel like force could be important for you for this month. Let's take a look at how you can connect with your inner warrior. Please tell us how, thank you, Aquarius divine masculine can connect with their inner warrior, please. I feel like there's at least one. Yeah, there it is. There they are. There's 2 more. All right, so you do have here unfinished symphony, the number 10. So first of all, 10 is about completion, the end of a cycle, renewal. And this is what I feel coming. You have this energy of like stories coming through, right? Especially with this 8 of Swords. And I had that energy coming through. I repeated that several times. Like maybe you've been telling yourself the same stories, right? And I feel like it's time to wrap this part of your life up. Right? I feel like it's time to essentially finish the symphony, let that part die, create a new song. I also feel like there's something here about sharing your voice as well, right? If you haven't been in your truth or something like that, like there's an energy here of needing to express that, share that, especially if you're like a songwriter or a singer or a writer or something like that. I don't know why I'm picking that up. Again, could be for someone very specific. But I do feel like there's like unfinished business here. Like you have more things that you're yet to do. But in order to bring those things in, you have to let other things die. You have to essentially start a new story, right? Like let this story or this symphony finish, let it be complete and move on, right? Dance to a new song. Stop, like I'm getting this energy of like stop listening to the same song on repeat or retelling yourself the same story. You also have here building blocks, the number 28, which also reduces to the number 10 yet again, right? And I feel like here's what's going on. Like you are, again, I feel like you're being put in alignment with that divine masculine energy, with the path, your purpose that is truly meant for you. And the only way that you can do that is by tearing down your old way of being and rebuilding, right? Death and then rebirth. And I feel like these foundations, these new ways of being, the foundations being laid, and you're being given the opportunity to build upon them so that you can create something new, something firm and stable, something strong and secure, right? Structure, right? Like something that's able to withstand the test of time, I'm hearing. There could be something here as well. I do want to share divine masculine before we move forward. There could be something here about your divine counterpart, your divine feminine, because there's all of this masculine energy up here and then two females coming out. So maybe that's part of your story that you haven't finished yet, that you haven't allowed to close a chapter on. Maybe you're in separation with your divine counterpart, if you know who that is, and you feel like there's unfinished business there, right? There's something here about releasing that so that you can build new. You also have here the number 45, time to go. This reduces to 9. The number 9 is about a transition period, right? Nearing completion. So I feel like these things are trying to come to an end. They're trying to come to a close, but you're in this transitionary period and it's going to depend on what decisions you make, right? How does this transpire? Depends on the decisions that you choose, right? Like, are you going to choose to time to go, leave these things behind and move on? Or are you going to keep repeating the same things over and over again, right? Like not letting the symphony essentially finish and complete. Very, very fascinating. There's a lot here about release and closure. Again, I feel like you're going through a big, big change right now. Let's see what we have here. Oh, Lord have mercy. That's too many cards. Tell us more, please, about how Aquarius Divine Masculine can connect with their inner warrior. And I do feel like this is about you standing up for what you want. This is about you taking the reins, essentially, of your own life and being that warrior for yourself. We are still getting tarot on this, though. Tell us more, please, about how Aquarius Divine Masculine can connect with their inner warrior, please. Oh my gosh, these are too many cards. I will take this one that landed over here, though. Sorry, guys. I'm a little bit of an OCD person, so I like things to look nice for you. Oh my gosh. Wait till you see these cards. Too many. What is going on? There's like a lot. Okay, this one. You guys have a lot to say. Wait until you see these cards. You're going to be like, what the what? Okay, so first of all, you do have the 5 of Wands in the reverse. This is an energy of avoiding conflict and respecting differences. And I feel like this is part of a lesson for you, I feel. With you recognizing like these things about yourself, I feel like it's almost impossible to not recognize that other people too are experiencing something similar in their own way, right? And I do feel like this is about you understanding like everybody's different. Also, I do feel like there's this energy of perhaps this unfinished symphony. Maybe there's something that you have to address. some sort of conflict or something that needs to be addressed in order to complete or finish that symphony. And maybe you've been kind of avoiding that, right? Maybe you've been kind of like, I don't know if I want to do that or not. The Five of Wands, I feel for you personally could, in the upright, it's about this energy of like, almost like preparing or being prepared for something, training for something, right? And in the reverse, it's like I'm avoiding that also. So I do feel like there's something there about that, like not putting into practice things that you've learned or seen or something, which is, I'm getting fear energy again, which is, very in alignment with this inability to commit to a path once found, right? I'm getting that energy for sure, but also this energy of just like, there could be something that's unfinished that you're just avoiding because you're trying to just not experience any conflict. And I feel like whatever it is, like, I feel like you need to, like, I feel like that's the only way. Take it as it resonates with you though, right? Use your own discernment. Decide what's best for you. Okay. Follow what your soul tells you, your truth. Now, what's interesting is beneath this building blocks card, look at what showed up, the Empress. So again, this could be something to do, like I was saying, with divine feminine energy, with your divine counterpart. All of these cards from the wisdom of the Oracle, I'm going to hold them up for you all side by side so you can see, are all females, feminine energy, right? So this tells me that there's something here. Maybe, again, maybe you know who your divine counterpart is, your divine feminine. Maybe you know who that is. Maybe you've had some rough go with them, potentially in separation, which may be why you don't, like, you're feeling like you can't finish the story, right? Because maybe it's like, I'm trying to just avoid conflict. Like, I just don't want to, like, stir the water, as it were. But I do feel like what you're experiencing now are building blocks for you to lay foundation so that you can be who your divine counterpart needs you to be, because the Empress is showing up here, right? And those are divine counterparts. This is the divine feminine, the mother of the tarot. And the Empress is about fertility, nurturing, beauty, luxury, creativity. It's this energy of happiness, childbirth. Maybe you've been thinking about having children if you don't already, or maybe your divine counterpart, maybe you want children with them. But it feels to me like the things that you're experiencing right now are to essentially lay the foundation so that when your divine feminine is in your life, like, you're able to be that support, that structure, that stability for her and yourself and your relationship together. That's really, really interesting to me. Yeah, that's a very interesting energy. Holy shit. You guys cannot make this up. Okay, I'm like, I wish I need to, like, figure this out so that you can see all of these cards. Some way to get them all in frame. Let me see how I can do this. Maybe if I move them up a little bit. Okay. I'm just going to leave it like that because, yeah. But look at what's down here. The Two of Cups. Okay. So you have time to go, right? And I'm like getting this energy of like a new path. The energy of like a transitionary period, nearing completion. So maybe it's like all you have yet to do is to really kind of work through this, all this that we talked about before, your current masculine energy, work through that and become more active in chasing your desires, right? And then that's like the final hurdle for you to come together with your counterpart, your person, right? Because the Two of Cups is a relationship card. It's like a soulmate card. It's, this is my person. It's unity and partnership and connection. So, I feel like there is this energy of like nearing the completion of this separation and coming together potentially. Fucking fascinating to me. And if this is for you, I'm like, I'm praying for you if this is what you want, right? Twos are about partnerships, like I was talking about, but it's also about choices and balance as well, right? So I do feel like it's going to depend on the choices that you make, okay? Definitely going to depend on the choices that you make. Now, what's even more interesting about this, before we close up your reading, I do want to go through what's at the bottom of all of these decks that we've used, and wait until you see this. It is so magical, crazy fucking magical. Okay, so the bottom of the archetype deck is the bully in the shadow attribute or reverse position. Conceals deep fears behind verbal and physical abuse. Okay, I feel like this may have been your energy in the past. Okay, I don't know why I'm getting that. I feel like some of you, because I feel like that deep fear, and that deep fear can come out as, you know, being like defensive and mean and things like that. Like when you're trying to avoid it, you're trying to move away from it, like it can come out very mean. And I feel like there's a level of insecurity here as well that maybe you felt that, and that is what you were trying to conceal behind the anger. And you know, I don't ever want to condone or, you know, say that it's okay to be verbally or physically abusive for any reason, because it's not okay. However, when you understand that that's what's going on and you take responsibility for that, you can move past it, right? It's like, oh, I see this about myself. I'm in fear of whatever. I can move away from this by acknowledging this fear, transmuting it, healing, and dealing, right? Now, what is fascinating about that? Look at what comes up in the animal spirit deck at the bottom. It's the horse. And what was I saying? You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink. So again, I feel like this is an opportunity for you, but you have to make those choices. Right now, it's very much about the choices that you make. Are you going to drink from essentially like what life is trying to give you? Or are you going to just refuse the water and essentially die? Right? Like it's like you're just going to keep experiencing the same shit over and over and over again, right? Take it as it resonates with you, but look at what's at the bottom of the wisdom of the oracle, fork in the road. Again, that crossroads type of energy showing up. So again, I cannot reiterate this enough. It's about choices. The choices that you make. Which direction are you going to go? And here's the thing, I feel like you have everything you need. There's like an apple here. It's very small, so I don't really be able to see it, but there's an apple here. So you have what you need to give you nutrition, right? To supply you essentially. Then there's an owl here on the card as well, which tells me that you have all the wisdom that you need, right, with you, helping you. Your intuition can help you make the choices. Because if you look at this, literal, it's a fork in the road. And I know that you may not be able to see it on film, but there's like a monkey, some sort of monkey here with a mask on, holding a fork in his hand. There's all these different arrows and directions that you could be going. And the fork says pull, like a door, like pull, like on a door. Right? So it's like, if you just pay attention to your external surroundings, like you're not going to know which fucking way to go. Right? All that noise, essentially, that I was talking about, the noise of the world. If you listen to that, you will have no fucking clue what the hell's going on. But if you tune within, like I was talking about with this Hermit energy, and gain that solitude and that ability to process and understand what the hell's going on, it's like you have all these things with you. So all you'll have to do at that point is just follow that. Right? Again, though, a fork in the road, a choice to be made. Then here we go. The Lovers at the bottom of the tarot. So again, if you know who your divine counterpart is and you are seeking some sort of reconciliation, some sort of, you know, coming together, some sort of, like, it's there. It's possible. This is at the bottom of the deck. This is what you don't see, right? So it's possible. But again, you have to make the choices that are going to lead you to this. The Lovers is about union, love, relationships, but again, choices, right? Choices. So it's all going to depend, pardon me, on what you choose. But there's love there, there's harmony there, there's beauty there, there's attraction there, right? It's just a matter of like laying that foundation and making the choices that best serve the ultimate goal, right? Aligning with everything that feels light, right, good, happy to you, right? Living in your truth. And sometimes our truth is painful. So I feel like this time for you could be very difficult, Aquarius, divine masculine, but you're going through a tremendous growth spurt, or have the opportunity to. And I want to lovingly say, like, if you are wanting to connect with your divine feminine, or you know who that is, the doors are open. But I do feel like it's going to take you making these choices, making these changes, and really stepping into your divine masculine energy in order to bring this into your reality. So that is what I have for you, Aquarius divine masculine. I hope that this has been helpful or beneficial for you in some way, shape, or form with what you're currently experiencing. I want to thank you so very much for you being here, sharing your time and energy with me. I truly am so very grateful. If you did find that this resonated with you in any way, please do the YouTube things, like, share, subscribe. If you want more content that really does help YouTube or show YouTube that this is valuable, that, you know, it's important for some people to be able to see this, and it helps to grow my channel. So thank you so much for doing that. And even if you don't, I appreciate you regardless. I'm just glad that you're here and getting this information. So thank you. I'm sending you so much love, tons and tons of hugs. Again, thank you so much for being here. Take care of your beautiful soul, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.